And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Wave 5 of X-Wing miniatures. Now Wave 5 consists of just 2 ships, just like the one wave with the Millennium Falcon and Slave 1. Now we have a huge Imperial ship. Well, huge is relative compared to the TIE fighters and such, and here he comes. I think there's Cylons on board. So we have 2 ships, and also we have a ship here that's Dash Rendar's ship. And if you read the extended universe of Star Wars, some of that has been seeping into X-Wing. Well, now we're full flung into it because this ship and everything. Yes, I know they put it into episode 1 or episode 4. I'm sorry, of the movies when they redid them. Still, though, it's some very popular characters that you're about to see on the cards and stuff in these games. And also, just wow, these are neat models. Let's take a closer look at them. Okay, first let's look at the ship models. As you can see, the Y2 2400 is a very nice looking ship. It has a lot of similarities to the Millennium Falcon in that it has the side cockpit and is basically a smaller version of the ship in this sense. This one almost looks like it came out of Battlestar Galactica. Very stark, but it's a big ship. If we compare them to the Millennium Falcon, this is the Millennium Falcon that they've already produced. You can see that this is a slightest bit bigger than the Millennium Falcon, while the Millennium Falcon's bigger. And they're both painted on the bottom like they were before. So some cool things about both these ships. Let's see a little bit about how they run. You can see that their maneuverability is fairly similar. They can both make a lot of turns, although you can see that the Y2 2400 can make right turns at speeds 1, 2, and 3 and make the U-turn at speed 4. So it has more maneuverability, but there's more changes than that. When we look at the cards themselves, you'll see here, these are the cheapest card for each kind. You'll see one's a 30, one's a 40, and you can see that the Decimator is exactly what it says it is. It has a gun of 3 in armor, 12 structure points and 4 shields. This is 5 shields and 5 structure points. This is nothing to laugh at itself. This is a pretty cool ship. And they have 2 maneuverability points. And as time goes by, as they get bigger and bigger with the better ships, and we got Lebo, and then of course the best Dash Rendar, which is what people want to see in this ship, we can see that some pretty cool things. He can ignore obstacles. So again, kind of pushing towards that Dash Rendar being this crazy pilot who's really good, and this one just being really powerful. Here, you can change one of your focus results to a critical hit. That's a huge thing when you're attacking at range 1 or 2. You do not want the ship to get close to you. You also notice that this ship has quite a bit area for upgrades. Now, these ships have a secondary weapon. Their main weapon can shoot all the way around them, and then their secondary weapon only can shoot in a cone. However, there's at least one card that allows you to use the Outrider card. This card allows you to use your secondary weapon as your main weapon in essence, and you can use it outside the firing arc. And you might want to do that if, for example, maybe you decide to put on the heavy laser cannon, which has a range of 2 to 3, so it's not good against short range stuff, but man, that 4 dice is kind of an upgrade to what's already in there. Then a few other cards, Lone Wolf, Stay on Target, Dash Rendar himself, again, he has to do with going over obstacles, a Gunner, which happens to be a Wookiee, Lando is back, Lebo, which I like him because for his action you can get a free boost action and then get an ion token. If you recall, boosting basically lets your ship move a little bit faster. Stick him on this ship and it becomes even more maneuverable. A mercenary co-pilot, proton rockets, countermeasures, experimental interface. So some pretty cool things. But the best thing about this is it just brings them more firepower. Both these ships here are just some really cool looking ships, and with the Decimator helps fight against maybe even the Corellian corvettes that have been released in the game. And it would be terrible of me not to mention Mara Jade, who is also one of the most popular characters in the Star Wars universe, extended universe, who can be put into the game. Ruthlessness is a card that I like quite a bit, which lets you when you hit a ship, then you have to pick another ship that's within range 1 of the defender, and that ship takes the damage, which could be against one of your own ships. But you know you have the card, so you have to be careful with that. Dauntless, when you overlap another ship, you get a free action. And then Moff Jerjerrod, when you are dealt a face-up damage card, you can discard this or another one of these upgrade cards to flip that damage card face down, which can really come in handy when you flip over that terrible damage card. Interesting here. I would get probably one of each of these, although if I was, I'd be tempted to get 2 of the Decimators. The Decimators, just because until they make Imperial ship that's the size of the Corellian Corvette, when I have my Corellian Corvette running across the board, sure, you can make it fair point-wise and stuff, but it's still nice, you know, if you bring a couple of these in, then we have this big battle. I mean, we can talk about having big battles now. Bring in 2 Decimators and Slave 1 and some TIE Defenders and TIE Interceptors against a Corellian Corvette and a bunch, you know, and the Millennium Falcon and this. It becomes very interesting, but also for some one-offs too, you know. I'm going to play this against a couple X-Wings. Can they take it out? I like that. I like that this is basically just a big armored beast, which is kind of what the Millennium Falcon is for the good guys, so it's good to see one for the bad guys. This ship, I mean, I like Dash Rendar and I like this ship and all, but I don't know how often I would use it over the Millennium Falcon. But still, 2 more interesting ships. That's Wave 5. What will we see in the future with Wave 6 and all? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what's coming up. But I think right now we have a pretty giant collection of stuff to play with at this point. If they stop making X-Wing stuff at this point, I think I'd be pretty content. And that's not going to stop me from looking at the next expansion. But anyway, some more big ships, always a good thing.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.